We followed the scent of water down south to River State to start afresh, but this time without my mother. In 2006, my father went south in search for gold, and for many years my heart would yearn for the voice of a present man to call my father. 10 years later, just when my father and my mother came together under one roof, I left in search of life and purpose. I was slowly getting used to a life of traffic, a life where everybody lives, a life where a family can never be together under one roof. The first time I walked into this auditorium, it was through the narrow door behind. It was on a Wednesday in September 2017. I was just a jolly good fellow with a pocket full of dream but a mind bereft of vision. I walked into this place with a body full of sicknesses, an eye that couldn't see light without tearing up, an operation mark that led to a kidney disease, a bone-degenerating disease that caused me to almost use a wheelchair, and a heart that was broken from the dealings of life. The first time I spoke to Pastor Cee, he simply asked me, "Who is your father?" I tell you, you may never know what it means to be loved genuinely until you've felt the cold wake of loneliness. Until you've lived a life as a child without a father telling you you are the best. It was a question of sonship for me. It was a call to bear a new name, to be seen as Pastor Cee, the courageous son. In 2019, I was homeless and on the verge of dropping out of the university. He randomly called me one day and asked, "Hello, Nangi, where are you?" And I told him. And on this very pulpit upon which I stand, I slept here for 18 months, homeless, but being taken care of by a man who could as well have turned his back and seen me as just another church member. And every time I would meet my pastor, he would tell me about a future where I built homes for people and paid rents for nations, but I was sleeping in church. So I began to dream. Because he said it was possible to do great things from small places. Nengi, places don't make people. People make places. Sir, November 2019, I have to drop out of school, sir. I cannot continue. I cannot afford my fees. My pastor said to me again, "You will put many on scholarships. You will build many schools. And you will be a blessing to many homes. Nengi, build a business for yourself." Oh my God, I failed many times at building a business. But every single time I went back to my pastor, he would tell me failure is you learning how not to do a thing. He would tell me that repetition is the backbone of lasting impression. Try again. Nengi, try again. And every single time I'll ask myself, what manner of man is this that every challenge looks like a sport to him, no matter how extreme it looked? Unlike many of you, the only color light we knew was the colorful and bright mind of our pastor. Many years ago, we had no LED screen, but yet he showed us a view of a tomorrow that we could not imagine. Did we believe him? No. But we believed the man that God had called, so we followed him. We believed that in 3 months, we could see visible, notable, undeniable changes in our lives. I know many of my brothers who walked into this place, and today I know many of my fellow brothers who walked into this same door with no badge to their name and authority to their voice, but now they control the beatings of many industry because of my pastor. On matters concerning prayers, he will say, prayer is not part of our ministry. Prayer is our ministry. We went from sounding like ordinary knockouts to GPMGs, general purpose machine guns, to Katusha rockets, and now we are atomic bombs in the place of prayers. You cannot try us. Zuzu. He will tell us every day that millionaires will rise from this house. A house whose roof will leak every time rain will fall, but we saw it the way he did. The greatest men in this city will come out of this church. You are the next big thing. You are the best every Sunday service, every Wednesday service. We could not see it yet. We believed him. We looked at his face. We watched him weather the worst of storms under cutting clouds of laughter. This man can never stay down. No matter how many times he faced challenges, he will always bounce back. And I will ask, what manner of man is this? That every challenge looks like sport to him, no matter how extreme it is. Even when the world was in crisis, he turned our face to who Christ is. Told us we could fight this. Told us to look at the sky and imagine what flight is. He showed us what success was and told us to bite in. Reminded us that the world was unfair and there is no need to bleach in. Negi, reach in. There is something more inside of you. My pastor cannot be... My pastor can bear to drive any car except the poor wheel of mediocre. Think again. My pastor is brilliance personified. Pastor Cee is a fountain of courage. You can't look past this sea as if it doesn't exist. He's a concierge of hope. An arrow released from the bow of a strong man. Blessings every day to Pastor George Izunwa for sending us a man like this. See, you cannot put up a fire whose fossil is the love of God. Pastor Cee, the courage burns every single day with nothing but the love of God and the desire to see everyone around him flourish. The only time my pastor looks back is when he's checking on his flocks to know how they are doing. Pastor, you are an ocean that fearlessly gives to every river, a refinery that burns aggressively unto purification, a vigilante that doesn't take no for an answer, a commander with a backbone for excellence, a leader that leads with example. Sadly, many people will not have the privilege of walking through that same narrow door, because at Graceland, we will not just be a door but a gateway to a city of grace. A place where everything is possible. A place where we turn ordinary men into leaders in a short time. See, I tell you, you would be unwise to think that Pastor Cee will stop there. There is more than enough fire in his bones for us to come back in the next 20 years to still celebrate his exploit. Pastor, your gates are secured because your sons will stand there to question your enemy. A time will come when we will say, Pastor, you don't have to lift a finger to get this done. I tell you, when that day is here, where he will not just be the resident pastor, but a mentor to thousands of leaders across the globe, that day is here. Those people are you and I, listening to him every day and becoming. Pastor, you are a burning and a shining light, a father and a mentor. I know we have done this before, but now as I've spoken, I need to reflect on your own story and encounter with our pastor. And please rise on your feet and give our pastor an applause and a shout that is befitting of a man who has worked these wonders. Pastor, words cannot define you. And once again, I say happy 90th anniversary. GIC Choba Lighthouse is more than happy to have you here. God bless you, sir.